Hello, welcome back. So today in this video, we will see what is the concept of branching and chaining of activities in Data Factory or branching and chaining between the activities in the Azure Data Factory. So in the previous videos in the same playlist regarding Azure Data Factory, we have already covered the basics of pipeline, activities, datasets, and link services. So if you are not clear about those concepts, I would recommend you to watch the previous videos in the playlist. And this particular video is specific to branching and chaining of activities. Okay, so before proceeding, if you haven't yet subscribed for this channel, please I would recommend you to subscribe for this channel and also share with your colleagues and friends who are interested to learn regarding data engineering. Let's get started. So when we say branching and chaining of activities, as we already know, a pipeline is a set of activities. That means one pipeline will have a number of activities. It's a collection of activities which are logically grouped, right? So basically, when we say there are more number of activities within a pipeline, there should be some connection between these activities, right? So it is not mandatory you have a connection, but definitely when you are building a logical group or logical model, so definitely you will have a connection between one activity and another activity. So it is basically you are building a sequence. If you're doing a programming language also, so there will be a sequence of activities, right? You read a file, you process it, you write it back into another location. So this is a series of steps which will be followed, right? Or you will have a if condition, or you will have a for loop conditions. So basically, it will be a sequence of activities. We call it as a program. So similarly, Azure Data Factory pipeline is also a program internally. So it will be having a series of activities which are interconnected. So when we do an interconnection, so this will happen. As you see, there is an activity 1 here and there are activity 2 and activity 3. So which will be called based on a particular success, whether the activity status is success or it is a failure. Okay, based on that, we can call a corresponding activity that we need. It is like it is based on the status of the activity 1. On the runtime, what happens on the activity 1 will decide whether your control will go to activity 2 or activity 3. Take for example, you are having a copy activity. So you want to copy data from like on-premise SQL server to a blob storage of Azure, right? So in that case, if a copy activity fails for any reason, okay, it may be any reason for that matter. Okay, if it fails, you want to send a failure mail, a failure notification to the operation team or a support team so that they can take a corrective actions. And in case, in the other hand, if it is success also, you can send a success mail so that they know, they are informed that this particular copy activity has been succeeded. So this is a simple use case where we can depict like what is actually, how these activities are linked based on the status. Okay, so let's move further. So just for the depiction, we have shown only two status, but there are actually four possible status of activities that we can see. But before going that, let us see little more complicated chaining or branching that we can see here. So there may be activity 1 on success, it will go to activity 2, and again on activity 2 success, it will go to activity 4. If the activity 2 fails, it will go to activity 5. So similarly, on failure of activity 1, it will go to activity 3. On success, it will go to activity 6. And one important thing here is to note, so I have not given anything on failure of this particular 3, what should happen. So that means it will not, it is understood that we are not doing anything here. And also similarly, after activity 4, I am not giving anything here, right? So that means after activity 4, whether you're not bothered whether the activity 4, 5, 6 are failed or success or whatever the status is, this is the end point. This is a stopping condition, right? There is no further processing after that. So this is an important thing to know, very basic things to know regarding branching and linking between the activities, right? And now let us take an example of, I just wanted to show you, there might be a if conditions also, or for each activity. There might be a if activity you are using, or if you are using a for each activity. That means on activity 1, for success, you might call some if condition where you want to make a decision, like based on certain condition, right? So based on that certain condition, if that condition is true, it will call activity 3. Or if it is false, it might call activity 2 here. In case of true, it will call activity 2. In case of false, it might call activity 3. So what happens at a high level is based on the true or false condition, you might call internally you might call a series of activities. So these are not directly interlinked. Activity 1 and activity 2 are not directly interlinked if you see, but activity 2 or activity 3 are called based on the if condition. So there is a particular condition. So this can be anything, like if you want to use, if the amount is greater than 100, you call activity 2. If the amount is not greater than 100, you call activity 3. So that is a business specific or any use case specific if condition that you are to define. So this if condition is completely different than this condition what we are calling. So this condition is definitely related to the status of the activities, but this condition where we are calling a if like if activity, so this condition is completely related to like how you call in your programming language, like any programming language you use if condition, right? Like suppose in the if condition you can use or x equal to 0 and y equal to 1. So you can use x and or conditions. So basically it can be any sequence of like conditions, but it has to turn to a boolean value that is true or false. So that is the if condition. And similarly for each condition is like simple, you will pass a array, and that will loop the array, and it will call the sequence of activities. So just I've given one activity here. It might be another sequence of activity, like activity 4. After activity 4, you might call activity 5, and on activity 5 failure, you might call activity 6. So you can link like any levels basically, right? So hope this is clear, and now let us see what are the different possible activity status. So in the previous, if you see here, I've just shown on success, on failure in the both and in all the previous slides. If you see on failure and on success, but in reality, there are four activities status possibly we can see. First one is success, second is failure, which are most commonly used. Okay, but apart from that, we have some rarely used status also. One is completion, on completion, and another is on skipped. So this we will see in a demo in detail, but at a high level, success is when activity one is activity A is success, then only it will go to activity B. When activity A is failed, suppose it can go to another activity. If it is completion, it might go to another activity. If it is skipped, you can give to another activity. So this basically we will give in a demo. We will possibly show you how this will differ actually. How we can use them effectively. Okay. So in the demo, you can see we will start with the activity status, and we'll understand how they will how we can utilize the activity status, and also how the activities are linked based on this particular status, and also we will see the branching and looping concept at a high level. So as you can see, I'm in the data factory page now, and I'm in a pipeline section. I've clicked on pipeline. I'm inside a pipeline. So to understand the different status of activity, right? So let us make a utilization of wait activity. So wait activity, why I'm choosing wait activity to demonstrate this is, it is very simple activity. As you can see, there is no much settings here. So there is no generic, there is no much options here. So you can use it very effectively. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create certain activities here. Okay. So wait is nothing but, as you know, it will create this particular activity will just create a delay. So it will not do any other operation apart from creating a delay. If I'm giving 10 seconds, so this wait activity will be executing for 10 seconds, and then only it will pass to the next activities. So now, if I'm just giving an integer value, it will succeed. I'm just clicking on debug, so it will definitely succeed. However, I want to make it let me show you, like there are different options. Like just let me copy and paste this, where I want to make this as a wait 2, right? So wait 2, as you can see, click here, right? This is just, it will take the success part. Okay, but if you want to see all options, just click here and click on success. So then it will give you the green symbol here, so you can just drag and drop. So as you can see, what we are trying to do here is on success of wait 1, it will call wait 2. That means whenever a wait 1 is successful, wait 2 will also get executed. So as you can see, wait 1 is success, and then it started wait 2. Okay, and also you can see the duration when this started. Actually, it started on the 50th second, wait 1, and then only once it's successful, wait 2 is called at a 50 second second. Okay, so now we want to see other options also, right? I want to see a failure option. To see a failure option, I want to make this activity fail. Okay, so how do I make that activity fail? Like, let me see that. So I'm just clicking on here, and just instead of giving an integer value in seconds, I'm just giving some value which is a string value. So then definitely I'm expecting it to be failed. So I'll click on failure here and link this failure to the wait activity 3. So now what I'm expecting is, after wait 1 fails, it should call wait 3, because on failure we have linked wait 3 here. As you can see, wait 1 is failed, and immediately wait 3 has been called. And please note that here wait 2 is not never called, because wait 2 will only execute when the wait 1 is successful, right? So this is clear. Okay. Next, we want to, these are the most basically used or most commonly used two status. But let us understand other statuses as well, which are quite important to understand. So this we'll call it as a wait 4, and wait 4 we will execute on completion, right? So let us understand by executing itself how the completion flow will work. Okay, so now wait 1 is supposed to fail, so let us execute and see whether wait 4 will be called. So wait 4 is getting called. Even though your activity is getting failed, your wait 4 is getting called. And let us make the activity 1 get successful. Then let us see wait 4 will execute or not. So it should get executed. The reason is, so whether it is a success or failure, okay, your condition, which is what we're calling as a completion, will get executed. That means whether activity wait one will get success or failure, that doesn't matter. But whenever the execution complete, okay, with the success or failure, your wait for will be called. So irrespective of success or failure, that is the advantage of using wait wherever you need such cases. So you can definitely use wait for. Okay, and the next status, what we can use is, or what we can try to use is the skipped. Okay, to understand the skipped status, I would actually use this wait 6 or wait 5, right? Yeah, wait 5 here. Okay, and so why I'm using this here is the skipped activity. Let me choose a skipped here, right? Whenever this activity is skipped, wait 3 is skipped, wait 5 should execute. So when wait 3 will be skipped is whenever your wait 1 will get succeeded, that means it will call wait 2, but it will skip wait 3, right? So in that case, your wait 5 will execute. Okay, so let me try to debug it and show you that. So now wait 1 will execute. Okay, and since wait 1 is successful, it is calling wait 2. But wait 3 is skipped, right? So wait 3 is skipped. So since wait 3 is skipped for its execution, and we are using a skipped condition here, it will call the wait 5. Okay, let us see in the output what has happened. Yeah, as you can see, wait 1 has called. Okay, and wait 4 is also called because wait 4 is on completion of wait 1. Whether it is success or failure, wait 4 will be called. Why wait 2 is called? Because it is succeeded. And wait 3 is not called because it is skipped. So since I'm giving a skipped condition here, you cannot see a wait condition here, but wait 3 condition in the particular activity here. But since it is skipped, you can see wait 5. So that is the beauty of using a skipped condition here. And these are all scenarios you can think of in the real time and use them. So we are here, I'm just showing the purpose of all these 4 status that we have for each activities. And all the activities, whatever activities you use, suppose you want to use so now as a demo purpose I've shown you the wait activity, but else otherwise you use any activity, right? So like if you're using copy activity, you see the same status. So just not to complicate things, I've shown you the wait activity with wait activity so that I can demonstrate the different status. So yeah, you can basically use any activities and see the same thing here. All the same option we can see. Okay, so we can interlink. So on, like say for example, on success of copy activity 1, call Azure function 1, and on success of on failure of a copy activity, then call Azure function 2. This particular Azure function, right? So that's how you can keep on linking, so that you can keep on chaining between the activities. Okay, hope this is clear. And now let us take an example of branching, I mean the conditioning, right? So there can be different conditions. Based on the different condition you will be using it. I mean especially the if condition, let us see, which is again most commonly used. So suppose like there is a first activity, some X activity. After X activity is successful, you are calling a if activity, right? So this if activity definitely it needs a condition. So let us take a condition as a pipeline parameter. Okay, so if condition will definitely take a Boolean value, right? So here you need to choose a Boolean value. So I choose a Boolean value and I'll take this as a condition and make this as a true. Okay, so whenever the true gets executed, I'll call wait 2. Okay, and whenever the false gets executed, I'm calling wait 3, right? So now let us try to execute this. Before executing it, we need to specify the expression here. In this case, I'm specifying the condition which is passed as a pipeline parameter. It's already populating here. So I'm passing the same pipeline parameter, which is a true. Okay, and is of type Boolean. So now let us try to debug it. So when we try to debug with, I'm passing here is a pipeline parameter as true. So then your wait 2 should execute, not the false condition where your wait 3 is present. So let us see that. Yeah, perfect. So here you can see wait 2, which is present in true, has executed. Okay. So now if I want to make the condition false, so I have to pass the Boolean value false here, right? So once I execute this, I will see your wait 3 will get executed. That means whatever activities that are present in the false condition will get executed. So that's basic about the if condition. So this is also one of the option that you go to the branching or nested activities. You create a nested activities here, activity inside activity. Right? And the next option, let us see about a for each activity. So whenever say like wait activity is executed, or let us start with the for each. So for the first activity, let be a for each loop, and so for each will definitely accept only the array values. So I'll just create a array values here, just array vals, okay, and it should be a type array, okay, and arrays should always be passed in a specific way. That means it should be passed in a square braces and comma separated value with single quotes for string. Okay, I'm just passing 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if I can zoom it, it something looks like this. Okay, hope this is clear. Okay, and I'm again zooming in out, and so then I can basically pass the array values in the items, as you can click here, and it will only list the parameter which is of array type. So I'm just clicking on that, and just to display that values within the where condition, I'm going to use a set variable thing here, and for this set variable activity I need one one variable at least here. So I'm just using a show variable, just a name of it, and this show variable I'll display in this so I'm just going to display for each item whatever is there inside that. Okay, definitely here we need to pass the array, must be a valid array. That means it is not showing it as a valid array. Let me check what we are passing here. It is supposed to be a, actually it is not considering it because it is a, not instead of single quotes it should be a double quotes. I think that is the reason it's not considering it. So let us make it as a double quotes for all the values here. Yeah, and now let us try to debug it. As you can see, it is asking this 1, 2, 3 as a variable. Let me click on OK. So that means this for each has to execute 3 times. As you can see, it has executed 3 times. That means inside it has went inside the set variable and this is executed 3 times because we have passed the array of like elements, 3 elements, 1, 2, and 3. As you can see here, it's displaying 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Similarly, you can pass a number of values here. Like you can pass 4. Okay, and just I can pass 5 also. Yeah. So this is again one more option of branching. The for each is one more option of branching or looping basically. So we wanted to show. So hope you're able to understand. So the wait activity what we have demonstrated. So which is very important, as you can see here. Using wait activity of you, we have demonstrated the chaining. So this concept is very important. And also you can understand the if condition and for each condition. And also there are other conditions like switch and switch condition. So that we will discuss in later in detail. We will make a specific video for all these iteration condition as you're seeing here. But as part of this video, hope you are clear what we were trying to explain. And if any doubts or any question, feel free to comment in the comment section. Thanks for watching.